And in terms of continuation, the percentage of people that done the initial course go on to the second course?
Oh, absolutely. It goes without talking. The reality is, you're talking about going on to the next stage. People who do 6 months of this course, they are, if you allow me to use the word, addicts, because knowledge is addictive. The more you go into it, the more you become addicted, the more you want more. So we don't have a problem with people not turning up the next year. People do definitely carry on. Not because we tell them to, because they want to themselves.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Say for some reason you couldn't start the course this year,
Yeah.
would it be possible to do it next
Yes,
year?
sure. It'll operate on it. So the first year, this year will become a second year next year, but then there'll be another first year. But whether that's viable or possible all depends on numbers. If there's 2 people who come next year, of course that won't be viable because of course it requires a lot of equipment and a lot of time and organising.
What if somebody misses 1 year? There is a gap left.
If someone misses 1 year, you see there's always lectures going on. This scheme, as I say, has been taught for the past 8 years in Manchester. It's also been taught at Hijaz College on the weekends, every 4th weekend, 3rd weekend, students gather at Hijaz. But that would be very difficult for you on a regular basis because, of course, Middlesbrough to Hijaz, you're looking at about at least 4 hours. 4 hours of journey time, one way. But if you did miss a lecture and if you wanted to cover it, you're most welcome.
In terms of delivering this particular course in this sort of format, I mean, what sort of buy-in have we had from other areas?
Very good response. The only reason why we haven't been able to do it everywhere is because, naturally, this is a pilot year. We're just testing a few. Once we establish this sort of mechanism, forget about local, national, we have places that are already international. Because the technology is there. We can cater for national and international. We have South Africa waiting, we have Australia waiting, we have Canada waiting. It's just when we get it right here, then we're going to implement it elsewhere.
And just a following question in terms of the infrastructure.
Yes.
Will that be something that the people in the locality can source and purchase, or is that something that...
We're not interested in the it's entirely up to the local committee. Whether you rent a room, whether you buy on the premises, whether you use a mosque, as long as it's clean and decent and nice for people to come in, that's fine. Yes.
I was going to say how comfortable is it because it's distance learning. It's distance learning is you're actually under a teacher teaching you. So how comfortable is it because you're on the website?
Well, you see, it's not strictly distance learning only because every 5th session the lecturer will be here. And the seminar questions will be given in advance. So whatever you've learned in the past 4 lectures, you will actually talk to the lecturer. So there is that level of interaction. And also, let's say you have a lecture and you don't understand a certain part, you can always email the lecturers. Some are more efficient in responding than others. Yes.
So for argument's sake, you miss a lecture due to ill health or whatever, do you
Yes.
have a facility to have
Yes.
recordings or...
Yes. That's right. It's not a problem. It can be done. The technology is there. But what we don't want to do is promote that because otherwise people will...
for unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, sure. I mean, theoretically, we can even allow you to sit in the comfort of your own homes and log in, as in a webinar. That's what it is, it's a webinar. But the reason why we don't do it is because you could be sitting without Zoom in your own home, you don't know what you're wearing or what you're not wearing. And the structure of education of this caliber requires a certain, what we call, taqaddus. It requires a certain sanctity. When you come, you'll have wuzu, you'll sit, it'll be an environment. That majlis, that environment has a certain barakah attached to it. Otherwise, we could just open it up and it wouldn't achieve the same goal. We had a correspondence course. This course has been run as a correspondence course for the past 3-4 years. But it hasn't achieved the same results because, of course, all the students are doing is listening to loads and loads of CDs. And until you don't have that personal touch, it doesn't make that impact. Oh yes, oh yes, no doubt. Another 8 years, plenty of graduates. Yes. In fact, a lot of those who teach it are now graduates. What we would like, which would be very good, is that hopefully if we deliver the course in, I don't know why I keep calling this Newcastle, Middlesbrough.
We highlight
If we deliver in Middlesbrough, maybe after year 3, we won't have to do it by internet. Maybe those who study the course, they can teach it. Because at the end of the day, that's what the aim is, to make you as a community self-sufficient. Yes.
Is this copyrighted? That you're the only institute who will do this? Nobody else will take the leave. For instance, if you qualify as a,
Yeah. We would only give...
Do you control that person, or do you let him go free?
In traditional Islamic circles of knowledge, it's not about, well, you've heard this lecture, now you can go and deliver this lecture. There's what you call izn. And historically, a person would only teach if he's been given izn by his teacher. We would only give izn to teach once we are satisfied that the person who's going to teach has a certain ability to do that. If he or she on his own volition wants to copyright or wants to, I think the proper word is to not copyright, is to rip us off. If they want to do that, it's at their own. People have tried to do that. The problem is, there's a saying in Farsi, Neem Hakim Khatra Jan, Neem Mullah Khatra Iman. Half a doctor is obnoxious to your health, and half an alim is obnoxious to your iman. Ultimately, people want answers, and they want answers from people who at least have a minimum qualification. So that's why we will only give izn to those who we feel are able to do justice to that.
What about for those who've got more time? I mean, this is only shown 2 hours a day on Tuesday and Thursday. For somebody who wants to do full time, is there anything?
Full time, they would have to come to Hijaz.
Definitely on there.
They can do full time there.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
Just got a question. I've looked on the website, there's a few options. Do you have like a home study course and things like that?
That's what I'm saying, correspondence course. But you see, the thing with the correspondence course is you'll just get, 120 CDs, which you can listen to in the car, at home, wherever. But it doesn't have the same impact. Simply because when you have a live lecture, you are seeing the lecturer is seeing you. There's that sober where the lecturer comes and speaks to you, you have that live interaction, that majlis. We're now trying to cut that down. That is really more available for people in Australia, Africa, Canada, those countries where we haven't gone live. But for UK, we're actually insisting that they should do this. Yes.
Could we set a deadline with yourself now for when you would need to know how many people want to do it and things